Because we ask in the name. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Idris for the Muslim prayers.
Assalamu alaikum. May we stand again, please, and recite the Surah Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين.
Thank you so much for those wonderful prayers. I know the presence of God is among us. Next on the agenda is the introduction of the chairman, which will be done by myself. I don't think it is a very difficult task to introduce somebody you have worked with for so long and who has been your immediate boss or supervisor. I think I know a lot about him. Our chairman, our guest speaker of chairman, is an excellent administrator. He was born in the Western area in the 80s. He schooled at the Albert Academy and later proceeded to the Fobe College, where he obtained a Bachelor of Arts of Public Sector Management at the Ghana Institute of Public Administration and Management, IMPA. On his return from study, he was appointed Special Assistant to the Registrar of the University, a position through which he was exposed to the wider and higher operations of the university, working closely with the administration of the 3 constituent colleges of the university. In July 2018, he was deployed to the College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences to act as Deputy Registrar, where he established himself as an astute administrator, leaving his mark on the college. In January 2021, he was redeployed to the Institute of Public Administration, where he initially served as acting and subsequently appointed to serve as a substantive Deputy Registrar, addressing thorny administrative issues, and succeeded in leaving his imprints on the administrative structure of that college. Well, it soon became time for the mother of challenges. In November 2022, he was redeployed for the 3rd time, this time to the Fobe College, having proven that he was the man for the big challenges. It is no surprise that even at that very challenging FBC campus, his reputation for delivery is getting even more pronounced, facilitating progressive administrative reforms. Our guest speaker is happily married with kids. So ladies and gentlemen, can we give a round of applause for our guest speaker, who is no less a person but Deputy Registrar Mr. Brima Ba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyade, for that wonderful introduction. First of all, I want to call on our distinguished members of the high table to join me up here at the hat. Coming. Okay, so I'll go straight to business. I'm here to chair this program. We have a number of speakers who will be commitments, and others who will be making detailed presentations. It's going to be a very long day here as we celebrate the achievement of the IVAC and IVAC projects. It's quite a long journey that started way back in 2014 when the idea was initiated after a call from the then Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Sierra Leone. You all will recall that in 2014, Sierra Leone and other countries, Liberia and Guinea precisely, were struck by the very deadly Ebola virus, and it became an international crisis. All attention all over the world was on these countries. So we had help, assistance coming from all over the world. But then as a people, we needed to take the leadership to see how we can contribute, not only to fighting the then very deadly Ebola virus, but to see how we also could support the prevention of the outbreak of Ebola in the future. We do have the outbreak. As a nation, we are called to see what we could do to ensure that other people don't face the kind of trouble that we faced at that time. So the College of Mercy rose to the occasion. They started out small, linking up with partners around the world, and ideas were put together. And finally, in 2015, August, the journey started, the implementation proper. A lot has happened. We are going to get the stories from the various speakers, but I just want to say that one of the main thing that I will take from what has happened is the capacities that we have developed as a country. In terms of individuals, hundreds of Sierra Leoneans have been trained, some of them to the highest level, PhD level, and now some of them are working directly with supervising institutions as a start, the London School to be precise, and other very well-established international partners. So these people started as local staff and now working at the highest level with these very, very senior partners. So that is something that we would always want to highlight as we reflect on the achievements that we've made during the implementation of these two projects. Also, what we would want to highlight is the fact that as a college, a university, as a country, we have been exposed to the highest standards possible in this field of medical research. So for you to be exposed to the standards of CDC, the INSA, that is the European Institute of Medical Research, then you are being taken to the highest possible level in this field. And I believe as a college, as a university, and as a country, we are now seen as very capable partners. Also, our partnerships. The partners are many and very, very big indeed. The London School, the INSA, Janssen Pharmaceutical Company, one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world, the University of Antwerp in Belgium, and a host of others, Innovation Medicines Initiative, FBC, and the European Union. So these are some of the things that we want to highlight, and I believe we are going to get a lot of details in terms of all the achievements, aside from the fact that in the end, the product which was being tried here was successfully done, and I believe licensed and quite ready for use. So at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I'll go straight to the program and call on our very first speaker, who is no less a person, but we call him the patriarch of the College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, the person who has been leading the local side of all of this collaboration and partnership that we are talking about, for us to come up here and give us the welcome address. Professor Mohammed Salman.
Chairman, the Honorable Minister of Health, members of Parliament here present, Gambia, Deans of Faculty, the Deputy Chief Medical Officer Clinical, the Chief Nursing and Midwifery Officer, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the College, heads of departments, colleagues, students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me say good morning. So let me, on behalf of the consortium and the college, welcome you to this meeting. And let me particularly welcome our colleague from London School who have traveled all the way from the UK to be part of this meeting. Dr. Stand up for Choi. So let me also welcome our colleagues from Gambia. The colleagues from Gambia, led by Dr. Faba. Can you please stand? I also want to particularly welcome the staff that actually work on all of these projects in Gambia, the local staff. I don't know, are they around? Yeah, the local staff. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are far behind schedule. We'll talk about the journey, how we started and where we are at the moment in a couple of minutes. The minister is pressed for time, so we want to move fast. So let me just keep it as this. So let me welcome everybody and wish you a very fruitful deliberation. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Mohamed Samai. And like he said, we are going to move very fast. We will have the overview. I'm not quite sure. So we'll have the overview of the IBOVAC to be given by our visitor, our guest coming all the way from London, Dr. Choi.
So I'll be delivering a speech from Professor Debbie Wilson-Jones on my behalf. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Dear esteemed guest, representative from the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, members of the Parliament, PBSL, SLAC and other sections, DMO, Paramount Chiefs, our COMAS and GROW colleagues, and London School team members. Welcome to this meeting to disseminate the results of the IBOVAC 3 and PREVAC UP projects. First of all, Professor Brian Greenwood and I, Debbie Wilson-Jones, would like to apologize for not being here at this meeting in person. Unfortunately, we are both unable to travel by plane this week for medical reasons. This is very unfortunate timing, and we're extremely disappointed not to be here with you all and to contribute to this discussion. As you know, we have visited Syria on many occasions for site visits and study meetings, and we have always been welcomed. We really enjoyed the chance to interact with everyone face to face. We're very grateful that Dr. Choi, that's me, is able to attend from London School to represent us along with our on-site team, Dr. Faba Fei, our laboratory, and data and logistic colleagues. We want to extend our congratulations to the COMAS, GROW, and London School team for bringing the IBOVAC 3 and PREVAC project to successful conclusion under the leadership and guidance of Principal Investigator Professor Bailali and the head of COMAS, Professor Muhammad Samai. These two projects conducted large, ambitious studies that built on the success of Ebovac 1 and helped to bring the Johnson & Johnson Ebola vaccine regime at 26 MVA to licensure under exceptional circumstances. It is also excellent news that Sierra Leone has now licensed this vaccine. And what's more, the data we collected in PREVAC and PREVAC Up also contributed to the US FDA approval of the Merck VSV vaccine for children. Along the way, we have been able to strengthen our laboratory and data management sections. These are now being employed on the Solidarity trial of a COVID vaccine and a large EPI study to measure the burden of human papillomavirus, HPV, the most common sexually transmitted infection in the world and the primary cause of cervical cancer in girls and women in Sierra Leone, where we currently have no data. We are very, very proud of the COMA staff who over time gained competitive scholarships that allowed them to attend master's courses in various parts of the world, as well as current and former members of the team who started or completed their PhD studies. And this includes an exciting new malaria study being done by Ms. Matu Kroma, the COMAS laboratory manager. So capacity strengthening is key to building sustainable research infrastructure in the country. And the Cambia Lab has recently been granted conditional GCLP accreditation by quality. And the PREVAC Up team, based in Mambolo, has successfully passed a vigorous site inspection by the US FDA. That was a major reflection on the high quality of clinical research that is being done in country. So going forward, we hope to continue our work on the epidemiology and prevention of infectious diseases, including research on Lassa fever virus and Ebola vaccines. A new Ebola vaccine study is under discussion with funders, and a new malaria vaccine trial is also being reviewed by funders. And we continue to exchange ideas with colleagues around the world on new proposals for research studies into diseases of public health importance for Sierra Leone. We also plan to install solar power for the Cambia Lab to make it more environmentally friendly. Finally, we would like to thank all the other people who helped us on these two projects, including the COMAS administrative and finance teams. Our colleagues at GO, who supported us with the complicated logistic needs for implementing these studies, as well as the London School scientific, project, management and finance team in Sierra Leone and in the UK. So on behalf of Brian and the London School, we wish you a very successful meeting. We hope that you will enjoy hearing about some of the achievements from these projects. I look forward to getting back to Sierra Leone in a few months. Debbie Olsen-Jones. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Choi, for excellently delivering the speech on behalf of the Professor Olsen-Jones. So we have had basically echoing some of the things I indicated in the opening. Quite a lot has been achieved, especially staff capacity. People that has PhD. She also talked about the strengthening of labs, data management system, and quite a lot. Our labs now being accredited by the highest bodies out there. So the promise is a very bright one for medical research in Sierra Leone, and having the confidence of partners like Professor is probably what any other institution of our time in the sub-region will definitely be dreaming of. So we are very happy, very thankful for those kind words, wonderful endorsement and appreciation for the efforts by our own local people who participated in the studies. Thank you very much. Now we move on to the journey since 2015. And Professor Professor Mohammed Samai, as we all know. Like I said, he was basically the person who initiated all of this, has been providing the leadership, working with both local and international partners. He will now take us through the journey. Professor Mohammed Samai.
We are still waiting for the technicians. Sure that our students were given the opportunity to also go through the typical clinical trial settings. We know we do deliver lectures on clinical trials, but then when it comes to implementation, it's far different from what is being taught in class. So we actually gave them the opportunity to be able to have a first-hand information on implementation of clinical trials. So let me just, no, this is not the right slide. This is the wrong slide. This is the wrong one. This is the wrong one. Thank you very much. So let me take this opportunity to just talk you through the journey as it all started somewhere in 2014. But the study actually started in 2015, thereabouts. Let me have the first slide, please. First slide, this is not the first slide. So we can do without the slides if there's a problem. So let me speak to the issues why they are still trying to fix the equipment. We had an epidemic of Ebola, particularly in the sub-region. So we suffered, as well as Liberia and Guinea, and there were also pockets of the infection, maybe in the US, due to one or two cases that were imported there, and also some cases were also recorded maybe in Mali or thereabouts. But then we had the largest body of the disease, and it actually killed thousands of Sierra Leoneans, including doctors and nurses. We lost very senior doctors and junior colleagues, and we also lost very senior nurses in the process of really saving the life of others. So at that time, the available tools that were at our disposal for the management of Ebola virus disease was just infection prevention control measures, social distancing and things like that. There was no chemoprophylaxis like vaccine to protect against the virus. There was no definitive drug to actually manage the disease. So normally, if you want to prevent against a disease, apart from the non-drug approach, you can administer vaccines. So once you administer the vaccines can mount some response so that when you are exposed to the virus or whatever it is, that immune system will fight against whatever that has invaded the body. But those measures were not available. And also, if you came down with the disease at that time, all we had at our disposal was to give you maybe fluid therapy or some replacement therapy in terms of electrolyte and things like that. So we lost a lot of people. But then WHO came together and did a call for accelerated production of vaccines and therapeutics. And there were candidate vaccines that were available at that time. Three of them, three of the candidate vaccines. One was produced by Merck, the PSV vaccine, that was also investigated in country by Comas in collaboration with CDC. And then we have the Merck. Is it on? Yes. So So as I said, we lost a lot of our colleagues. We recorded more than 28,000 cases and more than 11,000 deaths between Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. And in 2014, WHO had to declare it as an international public health emergency of international concern. Let me have the next slide. So as I said, at that time, all we had at our disposal was contact tracing, surveillance, and maybe IPC measures. So there was no vaccines or therapeutics available for management. So there was a call for accelerated production and evaluation of vaccines and therapeutics. So we had a number of candidate vaccines. The VSV by Merck, there was one by GSK, and then the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the R26 and MVA, and then there was another one, R5, produced by the Chinese. So this particular study, the Ibovac, Prevac, and Prevac-Up study, we actually looked into the R26 and MVA vaccine. The VSV was another study conducted by Comas in collaboration with CDC. And that result, the data that we generated, also has led to the licensure of that vaccine, and is now available to be rolled out should there be another outbreak of Ebola. But what we did, we decided also to add value, because my professor will always say we do what we call drug smuggling. And normally when we do clinical trials, we tend to exclude children, and we tend to also exclude women, particularly pregnant women. But then the opportunity that Ibovac presented was also to explore the investigation of VSV in kids. So the VSV has also been licensed for use in children. So it's not just for adults, you can use it in children. So this particular study was not just limited to adults, it was also extended to include kids from 3 months to about 17 or 18 years of age. So this study was done really in Gambia.